Pass the microphone to the man himself, Nestor.
All right, guys. Sorry, that was a little too loud. This is going to be a long speech, but that is all right because it's also going to be interactive. I'm a teacher, and that means that I will cold call on people to participate in this discussion. This is a discussion. Even if you don't have your hands raised, everybody needs to be ready. So, let's get started. My friends like to make fun of me for this weird thing that I do before I eat. Who wants to tell everybody what that is?
You think about it.
Let's get a hand raised. All right. Victor, you're the first person I heard. All right, what do I do?
This guy thinks about what he's about to eat. He's imagining what he's going to eat, how it tastes like, everything.
So, what Victor's trying to say is that I like food so much before every meal, I refuse to eat it unless I think about it first. This means, when I go to a restaurant, if I'm having dinner with people, when the waiter brings me my burger, I will ignore everyone for a few seconds, and during that time, I will think about the bread baking in the oven, and the tomato being sliced, and the mayo and the ketchup mixing together, and all the way at the end, I will think about the beef patty sizzling on the grill, because I always save the best thing for last. My friends make fun of me for this. They say that I pray to my food, but what they don't know is that I don't just worship my food, I actually hype myself up for everything that I enjoy. Right? So, before I go to a movie, I watch the trailer again so I can relive my favorite scenes. Every time I throw a party, you guys don't notice, I imagine every single one of you who told me you were coming, and I pick the best person who I really, really want to speak to, and I imagine the conversation I will have with them. Because I always save the best thing for last. And this is my thing, right? I love thinking about things that make me happy. In fact, every single time something makes me sad, I think about something that makes me happy of equal magnitude just to cancel it out, right? For an example, last year I was on lunch duty and this kid ran up behind me and smacked me in the head really, really hard. I was really angry because it actually hurt. This kid was like big, you know? So I was sitting there like, what am I doing, man? And then I was like, you know what? Let me think about good things. And I thought about Crystal, Michelle, Elsie, Lisa, Tanique, all my teammates, and I said, you know what? I love these guys and I love this job. It's all right if I get smacked in the head once a year because that's a good trait. Sometimes the good thing that I pair with the bad thing doesn't even make any sense, man. One day I got a violation in front of my house. It was like $50 for a fine because somebody littered in front of my house. And I was like, why do I have to pay for somebody else's garbage? And my brain said, you know what, it's okay, because you can do 20 pull-ups. I got the last $50, but I can do 20 pull-ups, so my life is pretty good. My life is pretty good, right? The moral of the story is good things, little good things make up for little bad things that happen in my life. But what about really big bad things? When I get really upset, I think about 4 big victories that I celebrate in a very specific order. First, I think about how I'm healthy and I can do all the activities I want. Next, I think about how I used to be so broke, but now I can afford the things that once were out of my reach. Third, I think about how blessed I am to have my family and so many amazing friends that I've met over the years. I actually stop and think about all the people in this room. And then, when I'm riding this high and I'm smiling, thinking about all the things that are going great in my life, and it feels like the crescendo in the symphony of my life, that is when I think about Anna. Because I always say the best thing in my life for last. And it is amazing the effect that Anna has on me. I tell you, she has changed my entire perspective of time. I used to look for things to be excited for. The typical day was boring for me. So I would have to count the days until my next vacation. When that vacation came and went, I would wait for the next thing further down the line to excite me. I used to spend my whole life in the future. I used to say, one day I'll have a big house, one day I'll be a famous writer. And when I got a house, I said, someday I'll have a bigger house. Someday I'll have even more money, and I would hype myself up thinking about all the bigger, better things I would have in the future. But now when I come home, I get excited just to hear Anna's voice rushing downstairs to greet me. And for the first time in my life, I'm excited just to live in the present. In fact, I'm afraid of the future. I'm terrified of any possibility of change because I have something that is already perfect. All right? I feel spoiled because since I met Anna, I don't know what it's like to have to wait for good things to happen to me. And I realized something. I realized something in 2023, which was the year that Anna first moved in with me. I was teaching my third graders the difference between traits and emotions. And I gave them the classic teacher definitions. But before I get into that, who can tell us what is the difference between the traits? Somebody who's not a teacher. If they get it wrong, I'll call you guys, right? Somebody, let's go. Anybody, on the side? Nobody? What's the difference between a trait and emotion? All right, Alex.
Okay, an emotion is temporary.
Yes.
Okay.
And a trait is something that's permanent. It's just part of you.
That is crazy, Alex. You are absolutely right. Say ding, ding, ding. You got it. So, I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what Alex said. Emotions are temporary. Sad, angry, excited. They represent how you feel because something happened to you. Traits are permanent. Nice, mean, determined. They represent how you act throughout a variety of different instances, consistently across time. Right? I told this to my students. Emotions change, traits stay the same. Emotions change, traits stay the same. I asked for an example of a trait. One kid raised his hand and he said, happy as a trait. What do we think? Is that right? No, wait. What do you think, Seth? Is that right? Is happy a trait? I told you, he didn't raise his hand. I'm still going on. Is he right?
No, it's a feeling you have because something happened.
Perfect. Okay? Here's the thing though, I had been teaching traits and emotions for like 10 years at this point. For some reason, this kid told me that happiness was a trait, and I wasn't sure if he got it right. So I did what any teacher should do when you don't know the answer. I made the kid figure it out. I said, how do you know happiness is a trait? Prove it to me. And he said, oh, no, my bad. Happiness is an emotion because it doesn't last forever, right? Like, just because I'm happy now doesn't mean I'm going to be happy tomorrow. And I said, oh my goodness, that is the perfect answer. That is exactly what I wanted to hear, right? So I gave him a high five. But I thought about it. Later that day, I Googled it. Is happiness a trait or an emotion? This is what Google said. Happiness is usually an emotion, but it can be a trait if it lasts for a long enough period of time. As soon as I read that, I thought, wow, I felt a deep connection to whoever had written that with Google. At some point, somebody felt happy for such a long time that the feeling became permanent. And now that same thing was happening to me. I had spent so much time thinking about Anna and the way she made me feel that she changed the way my brain works. Every single time something bad happened in my life, my brain just dismissed it and said, it's okay, you have Anna. When I got an Amazon package stolen, no problem, you have Anna. I had to stay late at work, it's okay, you're coming home to Anna. One day I went to the doctor, you have pre-diabetes, it's okay, Anna's gonna smack the candy out of my hand. She did. Things that used to make me miserable now had no power over me. And I realized that for the first time in my life, I wasn't chasing happiness like it was some fleeting emotion. My brain was no longer reacting to random things that could make me happy. Instead, I felt the happiness inside me. I could feel it in my blood. I was so happy. I was happy the same way I'm Filipino. I was happy the same way I'm 5'9". Happiness was a part of my identity, and it can no longer be taken from me. And that's why when that kid said happy was a trait, even though I thought of it as an emotion for the past 10 years, something inside me screamed that he was correct. That's the effect that Anna has on my life. When I proposed to her, I told her that she was my shield against sorrow, but I didn't really explain what that meant. And to do this, I have to tell a story about my father. My dad, he loved to nag me, man. He would say I did the dishes wrong. He said I had dirt on my shirt. He said I even washed my hands wrong. But one thing that really got me annoyed was he would see me staring out the window thinking, and he would say, stop being sad. And I wasn't even sad, right? You guys know by now I love thinking. Sometimes I spend a whole hour just thinking about a conversation I had, hyping myself up for a cheeseburger or something. I told my dad I wasn't sad, I'm just staring out the window. I guess he thought I didn't want to admit it. He thought I was too proud. So he would come to me and he would try to convince me to stop being sad. He would say, "Wag kang malungkot, Nestor. Kasi malulungkot din ako." Don't be sad, Nestor, because seeing you like this makes me sad too. But here's the thing, I didn't want to listen to him because I wanted to solve my own problems, so I would leave the room and I would try to avoid talking to him. Later on, I read this quote that said, you spend your whole life trying to get your parents off your back, and when they're gone, you realize they were the ones who always had it. Last November, when my father died, it was the worst day of my life. Now I really was looking out the window, feeling broken, thinking about him every single day. And the one thing on my mind was, I just wish he was with me here today, to sit with me and tell me stories, to tell me jokes, to tell me, when you're sad, think about something that makes you happy. Even when I was a kid, he told me he would die one day. And he said, I don't want you to be sad, so I tried to honor that. I tried, but everywhere I went, it felt like there was this dark cloud following me. I tried to hype myself up even. I said, I'm privileged. I have a roof over my head. I can pay the bills, but I would have traded it all to have my dad back. And it really felt like sadness was my new trait because I was sad for such a long time. So I held on to the memory of what he used to do when he saw me staring out the window. I imagined he was sitting with me telling me, it's okay. Do something that makes you happy. So I thought of Anna. I thought of all the reasons she makes me happy. And these are the things that went on in my head. This next part is addressed to Anna, but she wouldn't like it if I looked at her for a minute and 20 seconds while all you guys watched. So I'm gonna read it now, and I'm gonna glance at her every now and then. Anna, I love the way you get excited for the little things. The way you point out animals playing in our backyard. The way your eyes light up when it snows. It reminds me of when I was a kid and the whole world felt magical. That's what you are to me. Magic. I love how you melt away my worries. You know that feeling when it's 90 degrees outside and the sun is burning your skin? But as you're walking, you pass under a tree and the shade just blocks out all the bad things? To me, you're the tree. I love how you challenge my brain. Every time I see a cool fact or idea, I have to text it to you. I can't wait for you to give me fresh insights to challenge my perspectives. I love how beautifully you dance when you're performing, but you move just as beautifully at home when no one else is watching. Even when it's silent, the way you dance makes me feel like there's always background music. I love that you care so deeply, even for people you will never meet again. You give freely to strangers, you cook for stray cats, you create shelter for injured birds, you inspire me to be a better person. I love the way you look when I come home from work at 5 p.m. and you're in the home office. The sun passes through the window and it shines on your hair with a red-orange glow like gold kissed by fire. It makes me feel like my life is a movie and I don't know how I got so lucky. I love that when I look at you, I think about how proud my dad is that I married you. That I finally found something to make me happy after he was gone. When I said you were my shield against sorrow, it wasn't just a phrase. You reminded me that even when I'm buried under a mountain of sadness, happiness still exists somewhere in my soul because you turned happiness into my trait, and now it can never be taken from me. I love how you've altered time, the definition of words, and the entire universe for me, yet you remain humble. I know you asked me to keep this speech short, but I couldn't. When the topic is you, there's too many good things to say. If I wrote a book about you, I would never finish. But I would gladly write that book forever, because thinking of you is my joy, and loving you is my privilege.
Come on, I've never heard a speech like that before in my life.